Hello. Good day. Happy 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. depending on your time zone. Let's start this race. Yes, I'm sure I want to do that race time. Welcome back to round 4 of Swiss. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Do your taste buds a favor and your toilet a grave disservice. Anyway. Timer's already synced. Fantastic. No work on my part. I am, of course, Peen Train. I am both commentating and doing my first ever restream. So if anything goes wrong, blame Peen Train, whoever she is. And, not sure if, feel like game audio is very low. Well, thank you. You're breathtaking. I could tell you what's going on right now, but you know. We're sitting here, we're looking at Ness's house. Peen for Prime Minister. I feel like I could do better. I'm at a Buffalo Wild Wings and can't hear you. See, Dez is having much more fun than I am. I'm just over here commentating a race. It's hard to tell right now because there's not a whole lot of loud noises going on in the game, but hopefully game audio is at least somewhat balanced with the whole my voice thing. Anyway, this is a race between ChefGobes and Attack Slug. Both runners who, if you watch a lot of Earthbound on Twitch, you have probably seen. They run Boogey% in particular quite regularly. Which is about all I have to talk about right now, because at the moment, we are just walking up this hill and then back down. So I will be scrutinizing every slight movement mistake the runners make. For example, there was an extra B press on Chef's side. So, -1 point. Oh yes, the Peen points. I need more volume in my ears is the problem. There we go. Bitty bitty bop. Bomb to the boom to the boom to the bass. Biggity buck bumble. Again, nothing much noteworthy. We've just answered the door with the neighbor that no one likes. My neighborhood, I'm the neighbor that no one likes. Then I would suggest baking a crumble for the neighbors, perhaps. They'll like that. Maybe a cobbler? A blue cheese crumble, the world is your oyster, or in this case, your crumble. Alright, finally, something happening. There are now spawns, and good lord, there are a lot of them for Chef. There was an attempt to stutter past that snake, but there was all of the spawns in the world. Lug is currently at the second 100% spawn plate on this hill climb. And once again, all of the spawns in the world. Can she stutter this snake? She has been improving its stutters lately. Ow. I commend the effort. No one has died yet on this hill climb. And I don't know why I said that out loud. Because I'm remembering now I'm on commentary and I have the power to curse things. Great responsibility in that power. Look, I'm gonna get my one accidental commentary curse out of the way early. Better now than an hour from now. Oh! There it is. This is, however, widely considered the least terrible place to die in this run. You respawn right back at Ness's house, not far from where you were. You can heal at Ness's mom without being sent back up to your bedroom. She just stands in place and makes fun of Pokey for the food that he dislikes. Jeff in another fight, but getting a crit on that crow. That does help, because that can be a lengthy fight, given the crow's gigantic speed stat. Ness will tend to miss a lot. Yeah, that's the other thing. You die on this hill climb, you don't have to take the photo coming out of Ness's house. Eat some what? On my family-friendly restream? Alright, come on, Buzz Buzz. We have 113 from Buzz Buzz on Slug screen. That is more than half of Starman Jr.'s health. That is what you want. $74, not so much, although this man does not have much health left. Referring to the donkey from Shrek. So what, Ness's mom makes waffles? And a 109, of course. Inevitably, if you get a low roll from Buzz Buzz, the final turn he will do 3 digits of damage. That's not a game fact, that's just, it always seems to go that way. Does Starman Jr. have a gender? I could actually potentially answer that, because every enemy in Earthbound source code has a, like a pronoun. I can remember where exactly it is. It's, that sounds right. Oh, it spells out the entire word junior, that's why. It does say gender male. I'm looking at the source code right now. I guess that answers that. Buzz Buzz, apparently also a dude. And while I was looking that up, I was not watching Chef Starman fight, which I hope went well. It is a fight you can't lose, to be fair. Of all the fights to look away from, probably the best one. You can actually, if Slug was to go to the left of that tree, she could sneak past that dog because it has a giant hitbox and would get stuck on things. But choosing to fight it. I'm not going to comment on the nut debate. Love going into the little clubhouse that I feel like a lot of casual players don't know about. Getting the Mr. Baseball cap, and then immediately flipping and selling it. Which is the fastest way to get the cheap bracelet, which is what you really want for defense. Don't have to grind on enemies. You just sell a thing. Lug choosing to eat the bread roll early, probably a good call, what with taking fights. Before getting to this first Pogo Punk, you do not want to mess around with this guy. But she does have 15 more HP than you normally would because she took extra fights. Gets a crit on him. And he turned out to not be threatening at all. Grabbing the can of fruit juice out of the trash, as one does. I support this can of fruit juice. I do think that extra 6 HP helps. No major trouble on anyone fighting these Pogo Punks. Getting hamburgers, that's a 100% drop, don't get too excited. Well, it gets past Yes Man Jr. Will we see a bag of fries? We will not. Because it never seems to happen when you need it. And fighting Frank, unless you're a crazy person, you're probably going to heal every single time you get hit, because any amount of damage from Frank can put you in the danger zone because of how wide of a range he has for how much he can attack for. Weak attack will hit you for about 10, his strong attack could hit you for 27, so you don't want to mess around with it. Maybe more, I don't know. The most I've seen. "29 is a theoretical maximum. I think you just quit speedrunning if you get a 29, is what happens. I think that's when you call it a career. Past Frankenstein. We have a whole lot of laughing fellas on screen. There's a dancing cat. There's some sort of volcanic explosion for all of these emotes, which is something I'm not going to question. Frankenstein only attacks you every other turn, making this a very manageable fight. And 25 HP is a safe range, even if you do take mortal damage to mash through it. Yeah, you know, laughing fellas. And Frankenstein's down. I'm at least glad no one died on that gauntlet. Because no one wants to have to take that walk back out of Ness's house. Just to walk back over to Frankie Two Knives here. I presume Slug healed it, Frank. I can see Chef is right now. The worst death in Onet is yet to come. Oh, we don't talk about that one. Of course I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely didn't talk about dying to Captain Strong. Strong, because you have to fight every single cop again. Which I know from experience, because it happened to me in round 1. And it was really cool and fun. Oh, as a boss, then Ant. Because, you know, Captain Strong, you have a higher max HP by that point. So it's not necessarily instant death if you get crit by Captain Strong. If you have full HP, you should still be fine. Whereas Titanic Ant can just kill you in one attack. Which is not going to happen to either of these racers. I agree, Krang emote. Alright, Slug did heal. I didn't see, but she clearly did. Jeff manages to stutter step away from this mouse. By the way, what we're doing right now, what these runners are doing, is trying to reach level 8. So you get PSI rockin'. It is about the only realistic way to deal with Titanic Ant, at least without RNG manipulation, which you cannot do in this category. Chef getting a single slug, unfortunately getting red swirled by it, but this is not a very threatening enemy. On the first floor of Giant Step, unless you go in one of the side caves. Otherwise, if you're just on the main part of the floor, you can only get attack slugs on this floor as far as, like, the little dot sprites. You won't get antoids yet. Just slugs and mice. Which makes this the safer grind spot. If you don't trust your ability to identify what's a slug pack and what might be two packs of ants standing close to each other. And we're just whacking slugs. Slug is attacking her own people until she gains mind powers, is what's going on here. I believe Chef is at 5 slugs. And that appears to be level 7 for slugs, so that's probably 12. Unless she got a strange number of slugs. She did take a couple of fights on the hill, but that's a pretty low amount of EXP. Oh, Ness can't hit things that are right in front of him. Slug has a very funny number of HP right now. And we're gonna hope this next pack of slugs just never hits her so that she can gain, or that she can maintain that amount of funny HP forever. Ah, it's gone. Slug, by the way, has the setup that has been adopted by most runners, which is where you get a mouse stuck in that spot on purpose, so that the only thing that can spawn in that spawn plate next to the mouse is slugs. The thing you want. Jeff's now at level 7. And we have a couple of dogs on screen. Now they're gone. Slug hit level 8, and of course I did not see what her offense went up by. That's a whole lot of enemies on that second floor. But she's stuttering. This is a risky spot to stutter because of lag. There can be a whole lot of spawns up top there. The path to Titanic Ant, where there's a hamburger box, is off screen there, and you can just get like 6 enemies up there. But she gets through. Yeah, too much lag will affect your ability to stutter step. Went up by 4. Okay, so she should have enough offense to instant win against an Antoid. It's not technically guaranteed with it going up by 4, but it is very unlikely that it's not at least 24. Possible, but very unlikely to have 19 offense at level 7, but she didn't. And while Chef is tussling with a mouse... And that was... Okay, Chef's offense went up by 5. That for sure guarantees he has 24 offense. No, thankfully no bomb drops for either runner. I say thankfully because it's a little bit cursed. As some other runners in this tournament can attest to. And Slug is fighting Titanic Ant. The safe way to play this fight is to essentially play it like Frank, where you heal every time you get hit. Because Titanic Ant's strong attack can immediately put you in the danger zone. Gets both Rockins off. Titanic Ant also has a magnet, and he likes to steal your psychic points. There it is, but she already got the Rockins off. That's the important thing. And Chef is unfortunately in a fight with a 6-pack of slugs after already reaching level 8, just because there were too many things on the top floor. Which is the danger of the top floor. Very crowded. Oh, this could be scary, actually. In a fight with 2 Antoids, does not have any psychic points left. Might have to tap into burgers to stay alive on this one. Although he does have high offense, so he's managing to bash the Antoids in one shot. Doesn't need burgers yet. Hasn't come to that. And, looking like some last-minute burger heals on the Titanic Ant fight on the right side of the screen. Looking a little spicy. Deciding to go for it, this is a risk. Because Ness has a tendency to miss, even if you know you're 1 hit away, which so far it's looking like we are not. This is a safe HP range to heal at. Gets it off. Getting scary. Okay, he's down. Oh! If he did not go down there, Slug would have just had to hope that Titanic Ant did not attack on the next turn. Because there ain't no mashing out 7 HP. That's not... There's no amount of mashing in the world on that one. Meanwhile, Chef is still tussling with every insect and mouse in Giant Step, just to prove a point, I assume. Hitting those insta-wins. Probably having more cookie drops than anyone needs. We get to see another Titanic Ant fight. Want a good clean fight here, Ant. Rockin' hits for 78. About average. A burger second turn, which is the safe thing. If you do a life up here, it's more of a risk that Ant just does magnet and steals your second Rockin', which, 92 on the second one, that's good. Ant stealing one of your Rockins is a bit of a death sentence. Makes it much less likely you'll survive the fight. Taking a risk, bashing, but Ant did not do a strong attack, so we're still okay. Getting crit, hopefully eating another burger. Yeah, there it is. This is spicy. Okay, didn't attack. 20 HP is probably death. And gets through it. Okay, I on the edge of the seat a couple times there. Jeff did have to eat a burger or two, at least one, on the way to Titanic Ant due to running into the Mantoids, so maybe he couldn't play it completely safe and eat every possible burger. Maybe he had to conserve some. Maybe that was the thinking. But I did some clenching watching that fight. Lug bought some more burgers on the way to these cops, not wanting to mess around there. I've seen some runners. They'll do Titanic Ant burgerless, and then they'll buy burgers on the way to cops, which I always thought was backwards. Like, Ant's the thing I'm worried about. But being safe for both of them, I understand. That makes sense to me, and that's what we're seeing here. Mainly why you would want a surplus of burgers here is in case Ness keeps outspeeding on heels and these cops keep doing crushing chops. There's one there. I'm of the opinion you don't, but I'm also a crazy person. It's different than Titanic Ant because Titanic Ant you need rockin' on that fight. So you basically don't have access to your psychic points for heals. You have maybe one. Whereas Cops, you have the option of just bashing out all the way through Captain Strong. And you can change your strategies, you know, in the middle of the Cop Gauntlet depending on how many psychic points you have. And you have a higher max HP. So you could, for example, get crit by a cop and decide, okay, not gonna do a rockin'. Like Chef is also buying burgers. Slug doing a life up. Cop drops a burger. That is a 1 in 8 drop. It likes to not happen when you really need it. If you were to go into Cops with no burgers, odds are they would not drop a single one because this game is sentient and it knows. Doubling up on the burgers, probably wants to leave this fight with full HP. Because she's about to go into Captain Strong, hoping to just blast this guy with the 2 rockin' she has. There is a submission hold, which is gonna... Yeah, that's gonna require a burger. And another. He's out of Onette. 32 minutes. 32:40 something. Meanwhile, Chef is on the final cup before Captain Strong. Bashing well at 57 HP, which is not strictly risky. You can survive a crushing chop. The risk is if the cop crits you. Then you're there. Oh no! Why did I say that? Oh, thank you. Thank you for outspeeding. Thank you for undoing my commentator curse video game. It's fine. Jeff starting Captain Strong. Not sure if he has burgers left. He does. He has many burgers left. So this should go smoothly. $76 on the first rock, and going for the second one. This is a risk. There's about 2 HP left. Okay. Didn't miss, and it rolled big. We're through. Not counting the hill climb, that was a deathless Onette. All the, important and costly deaths were averted, despite my attempts to curse the runners here. So Slug's now at the part of the run where you just do a bunch of story triggers. You wander into this man's house. You check out his toolbox, and then you say, hey, do you want a hamburger and $200? As one does. I know when I go to a strange town, I just walk into someone's house, and he's like, hey, check out this rat I got. And then I hand him $200. Normal human behavior, really. That's true. I did just suggest go up to all of your neighbors and give them a crumble. So that's on me, really. Chef is taking out $600, which should leave enough to not have to make another ATM withdrawal after death warping back to Tucson. That is a good amount of money to take out. And now that we're in Tucson, the overworld music is very singable. I maintain that you could take any band and make their one of their songs' lyrics work over the Tucson theme. Slug walking up to the pencil statue and then back down. Which I've said to those who have never seen an Earthbound run must just look like the runner forgot something, but no. You don't have to interact with that statue, you just have to spawn it in. So that it's loaded in memory. Walk back through these caves and you have successfully done the plot trigger. And where is super late? We will have to start this 37 minutes over. I'm sorry, runners. I know you're attached to this run, but we have to start over. Someone missed 37 minutes. Yeah, finding a butterfly. Ideally, you want to find 2 of them before you get to Happy Happy Village. Because you're fighting cultists who can call for help, and you want them off screen as fast as possible, so you really want to do your AoE attack and blast them with rockin'. Bean Train is unfortunately on commentary. Oh. Jeff getting back attacked by these farty sprouts. But thankfully has a lot of psychic points. Gives him options to get through this fight. But not rewarded for it, because unfortunately there is another sprout that cannot be despawned without using the door. So, fortunately there was no payoff to taking that fight. Yeah, a lot of sprouts in that cave. Some people, Attack Slug for instance, would refer to that cave as a fart cave. Because I suppose it's bad and smells, is why. Through the fastest run of this tournament so far. So far. Had a turbo left bus. There is still one more race with Octo in it, so we don't know that yet. I would be very surprised if Octo did a turbo left bus. Slug touching that tree there, which is a spawn skip. I believe it skips 2 spawn triggers, but triggers 1, so it's a net positive. But gets through there without spawns. A very old set of spawn skips for PRV from an old Speed Demos archive forum. And one of them is to touch that tree. Slug sticks a landing and gets through PRV. Not getting pincered, not having to duke it out with a tree. But stepping on a snake, that is -1 RE point. I say judgmentally as though I wouldn't have stepped on that same snake. I would have. That's probably true. Octo would turbo left bus and still drop a 104. I've seen Octo die to Carpainter and get a 108, which is crazy to me. So Slug narrowly avoiding a cultist fight. Not a fight you want from a random encounter like that, because you cannot run away from a cultist. Even if it's a green swirl, which would otherwise be a guaranteed first turn run, you cannot. Because the game decided there's a cultist in a boss fight, and therefore every cultist is a boss fight. Tell me why? Am I supposed to say ain't nothing but a heartache? There it is. You know, come to think of it, the things you can't run from in this game are kind of things you can't run from in real life, either. Cults, cops, piles of vomit. You can't just vomit and then run away from the evidence. .104, which would have one shot. 102, which would have one shot if it was first round, of course. But Slug gets through the shack fight. Not getting a cookie drop. But that's okay. You will manage without the cookie. Jeff, unfortunately, is having to fight foliage. You can't outrun these trees with your overworld movement, but that one was not in a very good spot. But gets away from it unscathed. They don't have a whole lot of speed. They are runnable, but they can still waste your time. And makes it through PRV. Oh, that would have been another punishing place to die, but we're through it. For both runners. And Chef gets points for not stepping on any snakes. Chef buying a fry pan, definitely on purpose. But any very good luck that happens from this point on for Chef is because of that fry pan menu. because that advanced the RNG a few. Chef managing to avoid those crows. Slug up against Carpainter, a man who loves to waste your time by not hitting you with his lightning when he's supposed to. His first one did hit. That is the least consequential because he lifes up right after, but it still did some. Hitting a crit. Taking a risk there. 50 is within range that Carpainter could have killed her, but Ness did crit right after. So I probably would have been fine anyway. And she's now well set up for the Death Warp. Where you, flash an ATM card at a mole and hope that he'll injure you. Chef getting through Shack Fight. Not getting beat up by the cultists as much as Slug did. I hear a chirp on Slug's side. There's the culprit, there's the chick in the inventory. But Slug is actually dropping her defensive equipment before using the key to the cabin, which is actually faster, because it saves you the extra A press you get when you have a second party member and you go to select something in Ness's inventory. But still has to drop Paula's teddy bear. Otherwise the mole will hit that. Jeff is now fighting Carpainter. No shenanigans on those cultists, thankfully. And a whole lot of HP going into this fight. Hopefully not a whole lot of HP ending the fight. And the mole immediately taking out Ness on Slug's screen, and immediately taking out Paula. Okay. I'm trying very hard to be happy for her, and not very jealous because of how my last mole death warp went in my race. But Chef does get through Carpainter, has quite a lot of HP. Which hopefully... I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Yeah, my understanding is theoretically it's always faster to walk back to Tucson if you get 0 spawns. Which is a big if. I could be wrong on that, but I've heard that as a theory, which is why some people have done a death warp on Shack Fight and just depth warped back to Happy Happy, and then walked back through PRV. It's not a great strat, but it has been done. The biggest problem with that would be, at the bridge where you would erase the pencil statue, there is a 100% tree spawn if you're coming from either the right side or from above. So I don't know how you're getting past that without a fight. Maybe some, sneaky despawning if you can, like, short the despawn distance enough that you don't respawn it in the same spot, but that would be very difficult. It might not be faster for Manip because the Manip grabs a cup of life noodles, which saves walking to the hospital. So that might... It might still be faster in the case of Manip to Death Warp. But I am talking out of my booty because I don't know. I don't know which is faster as far as walking back through PRV versus Death Warping. Hey, the mole did his job for Chef. Chef checking whether he has enough money. He does. And I suppose this is the part where I should start playing meme music over top of the Runaway 5. Right about now, it's time to rock with the Biggity Buck Bomble. Bomb to the boom to the boom to the bass. Something with the Buck Bomble. Just get this emote. And this emote. Well, I'd have to thank Miss Des Games for those emotes. I can't take credit for those. Fellow Earthbound runner. Now, if you want to compliment this emote of Al from Tool Time, that I can take credit for. Yeah, there she is. And Slug getting pickled. Slug must have moved down slightly instead of just buffering right coming out of this theater. Oh, you're back from Buffalo Wild Wings. That's good. Because, yeah, if you move down even a pixel, you get the pickle there. And while we get the Runaway 5 both in bus form and in the theater, I'm going to sit here and meditate and ponder what all of this Runaway 5 stuff means, and definitely not go to the bathroom. Talk amongst yourselves. And would you look at that, we're in 3. While I was sitting here, metaphysically pondering, we have arrived in 3. The town with all the tuba. I think needing a bathroom break at Runaway 5 is both a Pavlovian response and also loading myself with tea is sort of a culprit there. Can't be commentating without caffeine. Slug managing to despawn some flies. Or for any of those zombies that you have to have stare down at you. Oh, if I was still on spironolactone, there would have been 5 more of those bathroom breaks. You would have barely heard from me at all. You know, I feel like most of the lead that Slug has here kind of comes down to the death Chef took back on the Yonat Hill climb, because there's not much more than, 2 minutes? Something of that nature? So it really shows you how much early Onet can matter in a race, sometimes. Factoids, little factlets. Plug did have a good PRV and happy. But Chef also had a really fast Carpenter fight. I think even things out slightly. Meanwhile, Attack Slug getting a couple of no problem heres while standing in front of Maxwell, which I think is inaccurate. There are many problems here. One of them is Maxwell. Chef, unfortunately, getting caught by a fly. Those flies are 95% spawns, I believe. And you can only despawn them from certain directions. There is a spawn skip for them, which I did not know for the longest time. There's a particular path you can take through the headstones. But taking a death here, not the worst death. Right? I didn't know, like, I was amazed. I'm like, this entire time I've been dealing with these stupid flies, and all I've known is to not despawn horizontally, because they don't tend to go away when you do that. But turns out you can just skip that spawn plate. Yeah, Sarah posted it in the Discord. I thought Uko knew about it, because I swear I remembered you talking about some kind of spawn skip in Graveyard. Yeah, if you die in this graveyard, you respawn back in Threed. And Paula being dead is inconsequential here because she respawns during this cutscene. Oh, you have a despawn, okay. Lug is now in Winters, fighting this dog, which is beneficial. You get extra HP for the first protoplasm fight. There is a 50% chance of a bread roll drop. Which is actually a different drop rate from the dog in Onett. Did not get it, unfortunately. The dog in Onett, I believe, has a 1 in 32 bread roll. This one is 50%. And this is not over, by the way. Because, good lord, can the Brick Road section of Winters make your pace fluctuate by several minutes. For reasons I'm not going to clarify until we get past Brick Road. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm just saying, it's a heck of an area. Slug avoiding the pickle there. And this is the part of the restream where I threaten chat to spam more Tessie emotes. Do it. Post it. There's a few. Yes, more Tessies. All of the Tessies. I will not rest until there are thousands of Tessies. More Tessies. Or I will not get another bathroom break. Wait, no. Jeff grabbing the pop gun and the Holmes hat. Tony will not let you leave this boarding school unless you at least open those lockers. Oh, so it's the same movement. That makes sense. And now we have this blob creature, which has not yet done anything problematic. Barely got hit at all. Totally non-threatening. Nothing bad ever happens on that fight. It is a race. A race to get past the Boogey tent fight in 3 at least. Chef does get the bread roll from fighting a dog. A bit of a benefit on his side. That Slug unfortunately could not get past this duck. Okay, manages to eat an egg. That could have been scary. Was within range of duck death. Egg. Gets through it. Meanwhile, Chef is eating stew in this tent. Trying to skip this second protoplasm. But could not. We're gonna pretend that one was the monkey's fault. Monkey, how could you? We'll say. And more Tessies. By golly, I need more Tessies. Yes, feed me, Seymour. Lug is now in Pawn Cave. I have seen her get gutsier with trying to stutter step some of these enemies. There it is. Gets past that mouse. Not messing with those ones, though. That is probably for the best. In this second room, if you stutter this first plate, it's possible to get pincer just from lag. Where there's just too many enemies on screen in this room to stutter step. And also hoping we do not see any mushrooms, because those are not stutterable. But could make it through here, going for the field goal. But okay, the monkey green swirls it, we'll take that too. I think if Jeff didn't have to carry this monkey around, he would have got through that pack of slugs without a fight. Jeff eating the bread roll. So odds of survival on this fight have gone up. Because this is a scary protoplasm fight. Protoplasm's feeling strange. Okay, and it's down. Meanwhile, Attack Slug is at the very end of Pawn Cave. A pretty wide lead. One of our runners here. Jeff, meanwhile, is beefing with this duck. Oh, narrowly avoids that cave boy. It's another enemy like the tree in PRV where your overworld movement speed is faster than theirs, but there's a lot of parts of those little Stonehenge rocks that you could just get stuck on. And then you're fighting that cave boy. And then he'll bop you over the head. And then you'll have to redo all of Brick Road and Pawn Cave, but thankfully that didn't happen. And Chef gets through Brick Road. Chat, you were worried. You were worried I had cursed it, and then everyone was gonna have a bad time in Brick Road, but would you look at that? No deaths. And Chef is choosing not to do some risky stutter steps past these enemies. Understandable. Grabbing the hamburger. That mushroom you could actually get past. It has a pretty small aggro range, and you could just go to the bottom of the room. And what is it with this community and Taco Bell? I say as I made a Taco Bell joke at the start of this stream. This mouse will not stop critting Chef. Thankfully it's gone now, because it had no chill. Taco Bell exists in Canada, but not anywhere near my city, unfortunately. So it's very tantalizing hearing all of the Earthbound community like, hey, I got Taco Bell, check out this Taco Bell. And I'm just sitting here like, I could go to Swiss Chalet. That's not the same. We do have a Chipotle, but that's probably not very authentic either. Jeff getting a pickle. This is a photo spot a lot of people forget exists. Or just don't know about it at all. But even if you know about it, sometimes you're just trying to get out of Winters. You're not worried about avoiding the bottom of that hole. Well, Slug is skipping. Oh! Keeping away from the zombie dog. We have seen that zombie dog kill many a Boogey race. Defend, BBR, there you go. That is the safe thing to do first round. 491, that is most of his HP. Boogey 10 has 579 HP. If this rocket hits, it will finish the fight. Oh no, Jeff is confused, but hit the bear. That's okay, a little less scary. Rocket hit for 55. Close. And that's a GG for Slug. I was getting worried. I was worried when I saw Jeff feeling strange. But we got through. That Boogey Tense Flash Alpha can ruin your day. It doesn't have a chance to insta-kill you like Flash Beta and above does, but it can make you feel strange. Your party starts attacking itself. It's a bad time. That's a 114.07. 114.10 in the race room, but what's on the splits is probably more accurate. Seeing chicks makes you happy. You know, I know it's probably not objectively very good food, but I'd probably like a Taco Bell about now, because I'm a sucker for food that tastes like other food. You take a taco and you make the shell a Dorito. I'm all about that. They had Doritos that tasted like cheeseburgers at one point. Loved it. But I'm also just a big fan of trash food in general. Is it healthier than other fast food? People think that about Subway, because it has lettuce in it. And I don't know. Jeff avoiding the pumpkin, the pumpkin and the puppet. Not messing around with those. Not sure if he has a skip sandwich. Doesn't look like it. Taking a leisurely stroll over to this tent. And hoping for good things. We want 2 runners past the tent here. Let's do this. Defend, BBR. And gets it off. Jeff does have 26 HP. If he did get hit while launching that BBR, I would be a little afraid. And that's a GG. Because that is something I've seen a couple of runners recently get hit by, is they do the defend BBR, but Jeff will have like 15 HP. Which means if he's the one taking mortal damage, that BBR is not going off. So that's if I could give advice to any speedrunners out there, if you're gonna do defend BBR first turn, give Jeff like 30 HP or more. Even if you gotta life him up or feed him, pull his bread roll, give him some HP, because it gets spicy otherwise. You need enough time to mash out for that bottle rocket. But thankfully no disasters on this tent fight. 26 might have been okay. But that might come down to mashing speed. $117.52 on the splits. GG to both of them. Although, what? Oh, there he is! There is the coral blue number 2 semi-gloss lipstick on the controller. Very immersive stream. One of you has not hit stop in the race room, by the way. There it is. Hope you enjoyed this. I don't know if, because I don't have the means to raid anyone. I am not a mod in this chat. Nor do I know if there's another... But there is one Earthbound runner live. I mean, I'll try. Yeah, no, I don't have that permission. Yeah. If I could, I would raid Dang Nabbit Jones.
Superma.
I hear a slug.
What are you talking about?
Slug, you're on the air.
I don't feel like I often wax philosophical. Sometimes I do.
He doesn't often wax philosophical.
Yeah, no lipstick this time. I had a much better run.
You had a much better run.
Oh, no.
Just mute that.